festive.
How nice.
Hanging on the Christmas tree. It's the holiday season. Holiday, so whoop-de-doo. Dickory-dock. Don't forget to hang up your sock, 'cause just exactly at 12 o'clock he'll be coming down the chimney, coming down the chimney, coming down the chimney down. Happy holiday. Happy holiday. Happy holiday. Happy holiday.
Probably 23. I don't know.
Good evening. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. As many of you know, we had the tragic passing of Nick Theophilus from the MS. And we also, this past weekend, we had the passing of former Mayor William DeSantis. Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Present.
Councilor Fascio,
Present.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Here.
I am going to be reaching Councilwoman Sapp by phone. Hi, Kathy, right on time.
Perfect.
We just did roll call, and Deputy Mayor Pecora is absent this evening. And I have Ms. Sapp by phone.
Present.
May I get a motion for item number 5, ratification of expenditures?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to ratify expenditures in the amount of $11,200,575.61.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes?
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Expenses approved. There were no residents that signed up a week in advance to speak on non-agenda items.
May I get a motion for item 7A?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve the tentative agreement with the Police Advisory Board for 2023 to 2026.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment? Any comment from council? I have a comment. I would like to say this is a very nice Christmas present. I think it is a mutually, obviously it's a mutually acceptable agreement. It's always wonderful to work with the officers. And we are very, very happy that we've got a good contract. I see the chief back there. It looks like he's smiling. And so it is a good Christmas present. Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes?
item 7A approved.
May I get a motion for item 7B?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascia.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agreement with Hoffman Kennels for animal control services for a period January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2024.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment? Any comment from council?
Yes, Mayor, I have a question.
Yeah,
In that contract, will we be getting any additional services or anything taken away, or is it just as it stands, as it has in
It's,
the past?
Councilwoman Sapp, it is as is. The price is not changing for this 2-year period. It's still the same price. Also, if you look at the old contract, under this new one, he's giving us some additional patrol days. So we're actually getting a little more, but the price is staying the same.
Awesome, thank you.
so one of the, this is the first time that this council is working with this contract. We formed, months ago, a task force. So we had many members of the public come and meet with us. We've had many meetings. In fact, we had a meeting as recent as Saturday, came up with a lot of good ideas. I see people in the audience shaking their head yes. You know, part of the issue is Penn Hills is so large, and there are limited services. We don't necessarily, you know, by law have to have a contract of this type. However, and I think I speak for everybody on council, if not, I can please be corrected. We view this as a public safety issue. You know, our manager has gone out to actually visit the site.
Sure. I would just add to what the mayor has said that, you know, we are not, I mean, the municipality is not required to have any animal control services at all. But for Penn Hills, because of the number of dogs that we have in Penn Hills, a lot of the times dogs are dumped, as we know, unfortunately. When our officer goes to a residence, there has to be a way that they could call a licensed, qualified individual to come, because a lot of the times the dogs that they're dealing with are dangerous. So we have to have an animal control service in Penn Hills. So I would agree with that. And when we look at the marketplace and we look at the options that are available, there's really not very many. So I know a lot of people have expressed displeasure at this particular vendor for a variety of reasons. Some may be good, some may be bad reasons, or maybe not even true reasons. But we've worked with the vendor for a time. We've gone to the kennel. I visited there personally. I know the police chief has been there. So he does perform a service, and he's licensed to do that under the laws of the Commonwealth. So we have to have that service.
I mean, it's a public safety issue, but over and above that, I have to tell you, frankly, I envision some, you know, not that it's a Taj Mahal, but my understanding is there's appropriate and proper licensure, medical equipment. It's the floors are heated. It's well-maintained, clean. And the biggest thing, though, is it's so good to be working with the task force. Because, you know, we're elected officials. We are not experts on animal control, but there are certain codes and laws that have to be followed, and we're confident that that's happening. But the biggest thing is we have a lot of animal lovers, and we are your neighbors, and we're working with the task force. And this is not a 4-year contract, so some of the things and the ideas that the task force has put forth, we're going to try to implement that over time. And so I think it's a really good thing that we have the task force with citizens who are coming forward to help in this endeavor.
If I could just add one more thing, I would just say that there's been a lot of input from the public on this service for, well, this year and then in prior years. And so some of the things that the municipality is doing now and things we've tried to do with putting the pictures of the dogs online, things like that, those things that we're doing, those were all things that the public wanted to see. So we've been somewhat open about our interest in taking input and taking suggestions, which we did. We tried to meet as many of those as we can. Unfortunately, we can't pick the service necessarily, but to the extent that we can try to accommodate some of the things that folks wanted, and I think that's what the mayor alluded to, and she said that we just had a meeting Saturday. Some of the input that we get is more easy to implement than others, but it's something that we're going to continue to try to work on. May never be perfected, but if we can improve it and help people find their lost dogs, That's what we're trying to do. So we have done a lot, at least since the last contract was implemented, to try to make it work a little better for people. So.
I think the bottom line is that we're moving toward improvement, and we have the task force that's working with us. A lot of great ideas, some of it's education. I know that a member just walked in. Did you want to speak or no? Okay, I don't want to put you on the spot. So I think that we're moving in the right direction, and it's really, education pieces, those sorts of things. I don't want to disclose all of the items until we figure out how we're going to implement them. But thank you so much for your efforts. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Item 7B approved.
May I get a motion for item 7C?
Mayor Calabrese?
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion, we appoint Gateway Engineers as the municipal engineer of record for a term starting January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2023.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Greg Swatchick, 648 Gramick Lane. I have here the December 7th letter that Mr. Minsterman wrote as, it's a proposal letter, and it was included on the internet for the meeting. The first paragraph says, on behalf of Gateway Engineers, I want to thank you for the opportunity to work with the municipality of Penn Hills in 2022. As we enter 2023, we look forward to another year of partnering with you and your staff. I'm not going to expand upon who and what Penn Hills staff is comprised of that Your Honor seems to continuously praise as professionals, except to recognize, if I may, that Mr. Minsterman has a PE tacked at the end of his name. He's a professional engineer with a license. So as part of that team, with those credentials, it's very, very important. And I am very happy that we have that kind of credentials backing or contributing to suggestions you receive from our team, the regular employees per se. So with that in mind, I would just encourage you as we go into the next year to try your best, if you're ever in doubt what any constituent may be referring to along the lines of engineering or surveying or ramifications thereof, to not be bashful and try to solicit him. I know he is eager, ready, willing, and able to answer questions, but he's not in a position as a non-direct employee to simply just volunteer information that may be useful for you as you deliberate amongst yourselves and ultimately vote on things that are put before us all. So I would just encourage you to utilize him as you see fit. Some of you have more than others. Certain things are just contract issues. He says, hey, we're legally bound by this. Boom, it's over. Some things are debatable. There's gray areas. So when you get to those things, please use his value because it's there. The other thing, and I might be out of line for saying this, but there's one line he wrote that's bold. In addition, quote, in addition, I'll continue to attend the monthly council meetings at no charge to the municipality. I don't want to say that no one should work for free. I appreciate his position there. I haven't looked into all of the background and history regarding this, but I just hope...
Can you please conclude?
Sure. I just hope that since he's not actually being paid when he attends, that doesn't shy you away from utilizing him to the fullest to equip yourselves with information to make the best possible decisions. And if you want to, and it would take a motion...
You have to conclude.
Okay. If
3 minutes are
anybody...
exceeded.
I appreciate what he's doing, okay? And I haven't talked with him. I haven't, as you said, Mayor, sat down with him. I haven't communicated with him at all. But if anybody wants to make a motion to give him a Christmas bonus of $100 or $200 just for
Great,
goodwill,
great. I'm sorry,
I
Mr. Swett, you
would
have to
certainly
conclude.
endorse that and don't think any taxpayers would object to that. Thank you.
Any further public comment? Any comment from council? I would like to assure the public that Mr. Minsterman is the utmost professional. In fact, we just had, we were here since 5:30 this evening. He gave us a fabulous presentation, and I asked him if he would be willing to give that same presentation to the public at some point in the future. It is unbelievable, his level of knowledge, his expertise, his professionalism. And I once heard it said that you should never be paid what you're worth. So for him to come here, we truly could not pay him what he's worth. I say that a little tongue-in-cheek because obviously of a contract. But he's a consummate professional who's always there for us. Any question, things that may seem so mundane or that we should know the answer, we are all totally comfortable asking him to explain, and he does it. He takes complicated matters and simplifies them for us. He is fabulous, and we are so fortunate to have him, and I mean that sincerely. So please be assured that we do take advantage of his goodwill, his good nature, and unless I told you that, you wouldn't know that we just sat with him for an hour and a half and he explained much of what he does. Thank you so much. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
A resounding yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
I agree with the mayor. I didn't get a chance to say what I wanted to say. I couldn't get to the button fast enough. But yes, I agree. And I'd like to say that Gateway, and especially Mr. Ministerman, he provides impeccable service. I've been working with him since 2010, and he gets better and better every year. Yes.
I apologize. I didn't see that you wanted to speak, but you can't see my face, all of our faces. I think we're all smiling, and we are nodding emphatically, yes, we agree with what you just said.
So that carried. Item 7C approved.
Did you do?
Yeah, I called roll.
Okay,
So
thank you.
7C was approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for item 7D?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to approve council's public meeting schedule for 2023.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Any comment from the public?
Thank you, Mayor. Greg Swatchik, 648 Gramick Lane. I'm also smiling, and thank you for awarding him that contract. It's well-deserved. I hope no one misconstrued what I was trying to do. I have here the notice to the public of the schedule that I printed Thursday. And I'd just like to read the first line at the top. It's in accordance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. The following is a schedule of meetings, plural meetings, of the Penn Hills Council and the various boards, commissions, and committees established for the calendar year 2023. Under it, titled bold, is the council meeting list, which I see. It seems to be complete and correct. I don't know what the double asterisk means that occurs in two places, except to maybe draw our attention to the fact that the first one, since Martin Luther King Day is the third Monday, it was bumped up an extra Monday, and then that happens again on June 26th. Normally, when I've seen documentation, and there's asterisks involved, and they have to stand alone as a communicative document, usually you start with one asterisk and read down to the bottom like a footnote and see what it refers to. Here we just jump to a second asterisk, and there is no code or legend or anything associating it. So it just could be drawing attention to the bump, and I'd just like clarification for that. That's question one. And question two is, when it refers to the other commissions and committees established, like the Zoning Hearing Board and Planning Commission, perhaps that schedule is not complete yet, or it wasn't published yet, but I would like an indication that that also as we did last year, will be part of and incorporated in this, since that's what it's describing itself as being. Thank you.
Yeah, just for clarity's sake, Greg, you did find that the reason that asterisk is there is because those are 2 meeting dates where the meeting's not going to fall on the third Monday due to holidays, so that's why it's there. We can make that more clear. The other thing that you mentioned is about the fact that document mentions the other boards and commissions. So what will happen is once the council approves their calendar, those other boards and commissions will get added to that. That goes online, it gets advertised. So all of the meetings eventually find their way onto that document. That's what goes online. Tonight is just for the council to set its own schedule.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Item 7D approved.
May I get a motion for item 8A?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve Resolution 2022-73, awarding the Penn Hills 2022 demolition project to Luderman Excavating in the amount of $97,350.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Item 8A approved.
May I get a motion for item 8B, please?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-77, awarding the Penn Hills McFarland Drive sewer lining contract to BLD Services LLC in the amount of $497,020.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Councilor Fascio.
Yes.
Item 8B approved.
May I get a motion for item 8C?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve Resolution 2022-78, adopting the tax penalty waiver provisions of Act 57 of 2022.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
I was going to defer to the solicitor to explain what this resolution is bringing us into compliance with.
Sure. So Act 57 of 2022 is a new act that was recently enacted and signed into law by Governor Wolf. And what it does is if you are a new homeowner, you buy a new home and you don't get your tax bill in a timely fashion because you just purchased a new home, then there's a process that this resolution sets up where you come to the municipality and you sign an affidavit that you didn't get your tax bill on a form that's provided to you under perjury of law, and you then are permitted to be exempt from the penalties and interest that would normally attach to people who don't pay their taxes on time. It's only a one-time thing. It's when you buy a new home in the quarter preceding when the tax bills come out and you don't get your tax bill on time, your penalties and interest can be waived if you establish that you didn't get that. So it's just something, a benefit to the community and taxpayers that didn't exist prior to this legislation being enacted. And I know personally in a number of the communities that I represent where individuals did not receive their tax bill in a timely fashion, and there was no mechanism that would allow for that penalties and interest to be waived. This is a big benefit.
Thank you, Solicitor. I also would like to point out, because I know that most of you know, but some people do not know, the municipality is a body that's separate from the school district. So we are, we're responsible for the municipal taxes. We have no relationship to or no authority over the school district taxes.
So this resolution pertains to all taxing authorities. So if the first time, not first time, but new home buyer didn't get their tax bill, they would be required to go to the municipality and fill out the affidavit and waiver documentation, and the school district, as well as the county. There are 3 separate taxing districts, and you'd have to go to all of them in order to get the benefit from all 3 taxing districts.
And we're talking about real estate taxes. This is
Real
not-
estate property taxes.
Real estate property taxes. This is not income tax. This is the property tax. Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Item 8C approved.
Thank you. May I get a motion for item 8D?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-79, approving a grant application to the Commonwealth Financing Authority, PAH2O program, for sewer improvements with a 50% local match.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Item 8D approved.
May I get a motion for item 8E?
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve Resolution 2022-80, approving a grant application to the DCED's Small Water and Sewer Program with a 15% local match.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council? I just have one relatively quick comment. Please notice that all of these are matching grants. So this is really found money, and these are projects that we do that don't cost us 100% of the, we don't cover 100% of the cost. So these are really fabulous ways for us to make improvements. So I hope as you watch us go through each of these council meetings, or as you participate in them, you're seeing how we're really making major strides, real improvement in our infrastructure, and we're doing it with, and again, I will credit our professional staff here with the grants, the matching grants, and some of the grants are even higher than that. So these are really sensational financial opportunities that we're getting. Roll call, please.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp.
Yes.
Item 8E approved.
May I get a motion for item 8F?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to approve Resolution 2022-81, awarding a contract for landscaping to Velati Landscaping for 2023 through 2025.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public?
Thanks again, Mayor and Council. Greg Swachik, Gramick Lane. I just want to preempt what I'm about to say so that there's no chance anybody could misconstrue what my purpose is. When you were campaigning for mayor, Your Honor, you made much mention of Sarah Kuhn's situation with no bid contracts for Dawn Kuhn's auto body and the Penn Hills vehicles. In no way am I suggesting an analogy with this Vigliotti contract. So I want to make that, as Nixon said, perfectly clear, but I mean it, okay? The first thing I'd like to do is just clarify when we loosely use the words landscaping and the attachment that's boxed in like a spreadsheet, it's grass cutting, municipal facilities. I'd just like to know if we're isolated talking about the grass cutting, not landscaping in terms of replacing a bush, giving it fertilizer, cutting the trees down on Road I, taking care of that. It's just going to be grass cutting. And with grass cutting, it means, you know, a certain reasonable frequency that they're very familiar with and you're accustomed to accepting. With weed whacker action where necessary, blower of the grass clippings and so on. So I guess I'd just like the scope defined a bit is whether or not it's just grass cutting. And then the second thing, to play off of what Councilwoman, ex-Deputy Mayor Sapp said, she was interested in comparing prices from previous year to this year regarding our services we're accustomed to. So I'd like to know, in as much as there was not, although it went out for bid to area landscape companies, I don't know if you could mention a couple of them or not. I have no reason, again, to doubt that that occurred. But if it was $10 million to do it and it was the only bid with the logic presented here, you know, we would be accepting that. So I would just be curious relative to last year, with an adjustment maybe made because we have the new government center here, just to see as we did with the engineering bills, with the municipal employees' wage increases, where we had something to sort of benchmark and compare to. And all it would do is go to let the public know, the taxpayers, whether or not any individual particular business entity could be in a gouging mode. And again, I don't know Vigliotti. I am implying, insinuating, inferring nothing untoward.
Sorry, you have to conclude now.
Okay, but it's just those couple of things that caught my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
No, I mean, it's, you know, typically, so for those of you who come here on a regular basis, and sir, you're one of them, I feel compelled to respond right now. Although, for those of you who are not familiar with the process is that we have voting meetings and we have non-voting meetings. At our voting meetings, which is a meeting, tonight is a voting meeting, it's much more formal. You'll notice that we address each other by name. It even sounds stilted, but when I ask for a motion, for example, I will respond and I will say the counselor's name. We're doing that because we're creating a record, even though we're all here and we may know each other. Anybody who goes back and looks at this record needs to know that it was, in fact, for example, Councilwoman Fascio. We're very formal with these meetings because this is a formal record that we're making. It does not lend itself for give and take. We all have done our homework ahead of time, although that's not to say that we can't be persuaded when you come up to speak at the public comment section. Our non-voting meetings lend itself for a give and take where we do have questions, we go back and forth, and we do those sorts of things. They're less formal. However, I am compelled to respond at this particular time, although, as you know, I typically don't do that. Sir, you came up and said that I wanted, quote, no big contracts, and you mentioned former Mayor Sarah Kuhn. I have never, what I said was that it's very unusual. In my entire time of public service, I can recall only one other time when we had a 5-year contract, or that I've seen a municipal 5-year contract. And that was when the school district needed to have brand new buses, and the transportation company said that they needed to go to the lender and explain, just as you would say if you were going to buy a new car, and you needed to show, 48 months or however many months you needed to show. So never once did I say, quote, big contract. I talked about the term of a contract. I would in no way intend to disparage former Mayor Kuhn. I was simply questioning the length of that contract. Having said that, we've done lesser contracts. For example, we've had contracts for 4 years. That's not an unusual term, 3 years. And tonight we have a lesser term for the Hoffman contract. I have to say I do take some exception at the word gouging. I think that every person up here is very conscientious, and we take a look at these contracts. I'm very proud to say, for example, whenever we've had estimated numbers on contracts, for example, if Mr. Minsterman just showed us tonight, I'm pretty certain that, I don't know what the number is, but certainly over 90% of them have come in under estimation. So
we're very, very conscientious that this is not our money. This is the taxpayers' money. So, again, this isn't the type of meeting that lends itself for a back and forth, but I felt compelled to say that my issue was with the length of a contract, and it's very unusual to do a 5-year contract, although it's not unheard of. And even though there are members up here, council, we don't all walk in lockstep, and sometimes we disagree with each other. I can assure you that my experience with every person up here, from every elected official to every professional staff member to the manager to the solicitor to the engineers, regardless of whether or not we all agree on each issue, my experience is that every single person here is very conscientious that this is taxpayers' money that we're dealing with, and nobody would ever put up with, quote unquote, even the appearance of gouging. So please be assured that we're very conscientious. Thank you. May I get a motion for item, I'm sorry, roll call, please.
Counselor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese.
Yes.
Item 8F approved.
Item 9A, may I get a motion for item 9A?
Mayor Calabrese?
Yes, Councilman Brodnicki.
I'd like to make a motion, we approve ordinance 2022-2700, adopting the 2023 operating budget and establishing the tax rates for 2023.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any comment from the public? Any comment from council?
Mayor Calabrese, can we just have a little clarification on that item, please?
Councilwoman Sapp, this is an ordinance that would adopt our 2023 budget along with our millage rates for next year, which are not changing. So it's the same tax rates for next year.
Right, I just wanted to make sure that that was clear for the record. Thank you.
Any comment from council? I would like to say that I am extremely proud of the work that's been done here, and I'm extremely proud of this budget. If we take a look at the budget in detail, you will see that there is no tax increase and no cuts in services, and that this is going to be the first time in about a decade. We're going to end with, we expect, with about a $10 million fund balance. This is really, truly sensational because our fund balance kept dipping and dipping and dipping. This is the first time in about a decade that we're up that high. So this is really sensational. I'm very, very proud of this budget. Roll call, please.
Councilman Brodnicki,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Absolutely, yes.
Councilwoman Fascio.
Yes.
Ordinance 2700 approved.
May I get a motion for item 9B?
Mayor Calabrese?
Yes, Councilor Fascio.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance 2022-2701, amending the 2022 operating budget to allow for the transfer of $87,000 to Penn Hills Library for 2021 reimbursable payroll costs.
Thank you. May I get a second?
Second.
Any comment from the public?
Thank you again, Mayor. Greg Swachik, Gramick Lane. I'm not sure what reimbursable payroll costs means. I know that we have a surplus, and a lot of it is due to the stimulus received from the federal government, the CARES Act, whereas you described it's like a rich aunt dying and leaving a lot of money. So I also am elated that we had all this money in surplus, primarily due to that. And I'm wondering if that may have influenced or has something to do with, at the end of 2022, us modifying the 2021 reimbursable payroll costs. 2021 was quite a while ago, so I really would like clarification as to what that really means and whether or not it relates to the massive influx of money everybody got from the CARES Act. Thank you.
Sure.
Sure, just to answer the question, this item arose because at the end of '21, there were certain payroll costs that the library was eligible to get reimbursed for from the municipality, but those weren't prepared in a timely manner. So we ended up far into '22, and this is basically just a true-up for '21, is that there was payroll expenses at the library that should have been paid in '21, but they weren't prepared in time, so we're basically paying them in '22 is really all this is. But it requires an amendment.
Any comment from council? Roll call, please.
Councilwoman Sapp,
Yes.
Mayor Calabrese,
Yes.
Councilor Fascio,
Yes.
Councilman Brodnicki.
Yes.
Item ordinance 2701 approved.
We move to council comments. Councilwoman Sapp, do you have any comments you would like to make?
I'd just like to take this time to wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas, a happy holiday. However you celebrate it with your family. Enjoy one another, stay safe, and I look forward to working together with the community and with council and all of our departments in the upcoming new year. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Councilor Fascio.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to mention there's a meeting coming up in January 19th, concerning the Vote Trail Connector. My understanding is this particular meeting will really be mainly about the Verona portion, but it would be a good opportunity for those interested to get better acquainted with that project, what's happening, and how to get more involved. I have the information about the meeting up here for anyone who's interested. Just see me after the meeting. And I'd like to simply add my, to Councilwoman Sapp's comments, hoping everyone has a wonderful holiday. It's a good time with family and friends, and we'll be taking a little break from meetings, I think. So, thank you.
Councilman Brodnicki.
I just want to add to their comments that I wish everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I just want to also ask you to please note that due to the passing of Nick Theophilus and former Mayor Bill DeSantis, we have ordered that that our municipal flag be flown at half-mast. So when you go by, please note that. At our last month's meeting, I mentioned the Shade Tree Commission was going to be planting in the spring. Actually, what they're going to be doing is arranging the planting will happen in the fall, but the garden that we're working with Western Pennsylvania Conservancy, they will start that in the beginning of Rhode Island Road. So what we're doing is everything is dovetailing our infrastructure, our entranceway, because the bottom line is what we are in Penn Hills is, we said it 1,000 times, we're not like Monroeville, for example. Our revenue, our base, we are about people. We need to fill each and every one of our homes, and so we're trying to make it more attractive. We're embarking on an advertising campaign. We got a grant from Lamar, so we've already had a group of individuals, a crew come out to do what's called, they refer to them as beauty shots. So there were shots that were taken around Penn Hills. That will be incorporated. We're trying to have better public relations and market to the surrounding areas, because we're noticing an influx of people from New York and California. They love our housing market. Compared to the prices in New York and California, we are just a steal. We're seeing people come from the tri-state area. We're seeing people come in from Maryland and Virginia. And once we let people know who we are and what we are, they're starting to notice the good things about Penn Hills. So we are embarking on that campaign. Again, just to echo what Councilwoman Fascio said, we are out in the eastern corridor here. We are neighbors, and we're all intertwined with each other. So we will be, that meeting would be a good meeting for you, to the Verona, Oakmont, Penn Hills, and Plum area. So we have a grant that will go from Allegheny River all the way to Boyce Park. We're trying to engage in different trails. We're noticing that younger people that move in here, they want to be able to walk to public transportation. So each and every one of these little items are dovetailing to showcase how truly fabulous we are. And once again, I'm very, very proud of the work that was put in. I thank you so much to our finance director, and we should be very, very proud of our budget, not just the people up here who have worked, but the residents too, because we've got about over a 90% tax collection rate, 75% home ownership. We are really, really in a good position, and not to be redundant, but this is the first time in over a decade that we are seeing that our fund balance is this high. Our credit rating has been improved by Standard & Poor's, and they have said that we are in a very strong position. So we have these are very good Christmas presents, and on behalf of the entire municipality and council, I would like to wish everyone a very, very happy holiday season. This meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, Scott. Good night.
Take care. Thanks, Kathy.